Today we have a special guest joining us on our show, Ivan, a programmer at AQS, a data leading company. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you, Barbara, for having me.
Before we dive into our discussion, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Hakizimana Ivan. I'm a programmer at Africa Quantitative Sciences. Also being in the programming world, I'm a data scientist and also a web developer.
That makes really interesting because so many people don't find passion in coding, especially I would say for myself. And especially when you talk about the coding part, as I like to call it. So what led you into programming as your career path?
Programming is a deep-rooted passion that I had for a while. Back in 2010. 2010, the first time I interacted with a computer as it is. At that time, it belonged to my father. I used to tampering with a lot of stuff, video games, and it would lead up to me crashing the computer from downloading viruses and stuff. And, watching a couple of YouTube videos on how to fix it and stuff. So that's where my fascination for computers sparked. Now, on the programming part, the turning point was in 2015, where I was selected by my computer teacher in high school to spearhead a project in IoT using Arduino Uno and C++. So the project was building an automated self-automating traffic lights. It was a very interesting project, daunting one, but that's where my fascination for coding started, really. Yeah.
You said about how you end up being in the programming environment. So how did you come up, being part of AQS, and what are your current milestones and accomplishments so far in the company?
So my journey at AQS started in 2023. It was through a meetup between the AQS CEO and a friend of ours, I can say, who knew both of us. So that friend really saw that proficient in programming, as you said, and also passionate about artificial intelligence and data science. So we had a meetup he arranged a meetup between me and him. And the moment we started talking to the CEO, that's when everything around us shut. Time stopped because the frequency, the passion about how we see artificial intelligence in Rwanda, what its impact and its potential advancement. Everything around us just shut down, and it was me and him just conversing, and he picked. I think he picked an interest in me, and definitely saw a potential for further partnership and working. And I also picked an interest. I was like, so there's a company that has the same vision and the same goal as I do, and already that has a footing in the market. So I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot and see how it ends. And so far, I can say it's a beginning of a beautiful story.
With what you said about AQS and how you joined the company, sounds very interesting, and I like the version of it. And so, then how did AQS impact your career trajectory and you being in the field of programming, as a programmer in the field of tech?
My current understanding of, or my current capacity of my passion in the field wasn't that much heightened, I can say. It was because, again, there is purpose of personal growth in the field, but there was this longing of also contributing to a real world project. that gives a certain impact to society, and also tackling along the way, also tackling the problems that are in real life problems. So AQS kind of heightened it, because it's a place where the moment I joined, we hit the ground, the ground running, and I was introduced into a larger scale type of projects, and also in a learning environment, because that's also what the AQS provides. And from that, we had those minor setbacks. It's programming, and from that, it was a bit tough, can say. But in another way, it sharpened my skills, and also it also added in an element of adaptive intelligence. So what do I mean by adaptive intelligence? It's a state where that you grow into, that helps you to face whichever challenge and situation that you are thrown in. And from that, along the way, you adapt your skills and your problem-solving mentality and attitude into that to solve that particular problem, and also coming out of that situation. So that was one of the greatest thing I learned from AQS, which also became my greatest asset. Yeah.
I love the way you say that we have to divide like the big task into small things to make it achievable, and also to make like a smaller milestone that we can accomplish. Especially when you pointed out that so many people don't look at the problem in our society at a broader way, but they just specifically identify where they fit in and they go there. That's really interesting. And there's something that we have heard of, which is very exciting, that in 2023 you have had chance to join a CPHI conference that happened in Lusaka in Zambia. Could you tell us how you got selected to be there, and what was the conference all about?
So the CPHI so far, it's in long words, it's the conference for public health in Africa, and by far it's the second largest public health gathering after the World Health Assembly.
Wow.
Yeah. So how I came about to attend the conference is that in AQS we had this culture of this routine of having a writing session. So the writing session was in place to improve our skills in writing abstracts, writing what we call protocols, research protocols, and papers and stuff. So it kind of like gave us another asset of becoming researchers, well-equipped researchers. So within those sessions, we used to have this time to write mock abstracts. And we could judge in between ourselves how good the abstract is and its structure. And from there, we were told to come up with the topics of what to write, and I was given the topic. I was given the idea to write about the AI tool that we had created. So the AI tool we created, it was about precision mapping for stunting for children under 5 years in Rwanda at the district level. So what it does, it interprets the data fed to it in real time, and it maps the stunting rate in each every district, and from there it predicts the high possibility of a certain district to have a high rise in stunting, given particular factors that affects or that enhances the stunting rate. And from there now it also gives recommendation. It does this recommendation system now, like it gives you the recommendations of what to do, the mitigation that could help a researcher or a policymaker to mitigate further increase in stunting. So we created that, and famously we created it in 3 days.
Oh my God.
that's what's been going around, of which we indeed created in 3 days. With my AI, with our chief AI officer, who is also my superior and my mentor into this field. So, coming back to the CPHIA, so I wrote the paper. And also there were corrections here and there from our researchers, experts at that time. So we submitted the paper, and luckily enough, I can't say weirdly enough, I saw myself getting accepted to present in the virtual session. So I can remember that when we were going to present the virtual session, I didn't know the magnitude of it until the testing phase of how we were going to present the stuff. And what I can tell our viewers is that the CPHIA, the presentation was categorized in different topics that were presented that time to write in certain. And for us, I had picked digital transformation, public health in Africa. So that's when I was supposed to present it. And I can say it was a session that was stacked with big fishes in public health. You had doctors, you had professors, you had directors of NGOs, It was a bit frightening, because it was also my first time presenting. But what helped was the conviction I had for the tool that you have created, the confidence I had in the tool, and also my own confidence that I knew the certain degree of how to come around in explaining, articulating the project that you had done. It was this sixth session. I presented, questions were asked, I answered them gracefully and very well and professionally. And after the presentation, the presenters also given, alongside also in the application, they also given the chance to apply for them to attend the meeting. And that's how I found myself catching a flight to Lusaka to attend the CPHIA conference.
What were the AI supposed to do? Like, what was it going to be solving?
The AI, what it was supposed to do, as I said before, it was used for precision mapping, for especially targeting stunting in children under 5 years. The element of uniqueness that we envisioned was that we were kind of shifting the model to use the classification studies, taking all the data sets or already pre-built data sets, and then you get to feed them in the model, of which sometimes you run into risk of having outdated results and biased results. So in a sense, we took a different approach, like what if we use the regression model? Now what if we feed the real-time data set, data into our model? So at first, the model initially we were using classification, because we were using public available data for us to test the model. So we went with the classification, but the core feature of the models was to map, giving a virtual mapping of the stunting levels in every district, but also giving on an additional element of predicting a likely rise of stunting in the multiple districts, and also giving recommendation of what to do to mitigate the possibility to mitigate the chance of stunting to rise.
Not to cut you short, what kind of data is it supposed to be fed?
So the kind of data it's supposed to be fed for machine learning models, it's a bit different, because it has to be a bit binary. because that's what the machine understands.
Yeah.
So it has to understand if it's a yes or no answer, which is a bit different with the usual interpretation of data using analysis and stuff, because you just use multivariate data values. But for machine learning models, it's a bit binary, because that's what most machine. And if it is, you also have to kind of clearly indicate to the machine what type of what does the data type present. What does zero present? Is it a yes or no, or is it stunted or unstunted? So you have to go through that way. And another thing you have to do feature extraction.
Yeah.
So feature extraction, you take independent variables that affects your dependent variables. So in our case, a dependent variable is stunting. So for independent variables, you have to look into a multifaceted area, depending with what data set that you have. Is it socio-economic factors? Is it health-related factors? Is it, just cultural or whatever? But for us that time, the data set we had was more leaned into the socio-economic factors, because we were looking into the distance that the families had to take to reach the nearest water well. Is the family educated? Does the father or the mother have a job? Stuff like that to gauge the economic capacity.
So those were the factors that led to my decision.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's always very fascinating to hear from you and the kind of person you are, and also the changes you make at your young age. Now it makes me wonder, like, what are your visions that you have for your life, and also professional, like what are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself in the next coming years, like 5 years, for example?
In the professional world, there are two types of people. Yeah. There are those who we call the survivalists. The survivalists are the ones who are satisfied with the end of the day paycheck. And there are this type of people, the other category of people who look beyond where they are, and they try to deduce what they want to do in their next phase in life, and in which position will they be, and which impact will they leave to the society or affect the society. And they kind of they're mistaken of being delusional. Delulu, they're like, this is what it doesn't like favor. I mean, God favors those who try. It doesn't favor those who wait. And you have to be delusional enough to fulfill your goal. And my goal is to be a person of not only being a great AI engineer, but also having my workings greatly contributing to the advancements of Rwanda's AI landscape or technology in general. And I also see AQS as being a company or an entity that has seeped its roots in digital transformation in every sector in Rwanda, and it becoming a flagship company, not only in Rwanda regional-wise, but also in the continent on a global scale. We are also getting great recognition from other sectors, and there's great need in closing the gap of the usage of data and also digitalizing organizational activities. And in 5 years, I can say AQS I can say proudly that will be a flagship tech company in Rwanda. Yeah.
For those in our audience, like who don't know more about AQS, could you help, like, to specifically tell more about AQS? What's the mission, and how does AQS empower and also help push young generation to excel in the realms of technology and in the field of data science?
Yeah, as I said before, AQS is a place where your skills are tested at the get-go. But it's also a place where it offers capacity building for individuals.
Sure.
It's very rare to find that elsewhere in Rwanda or in any company where you can have a workplace where you apply what you know, but also gives you time to learn more about certain stuff that you lack or want to learn further. And about the young individuals, I can say it's a great place for learning. You have great individuals in AQS that are can say experienced in their fields, but also individuals who are willing to disseminate their knowledge. You have individuals that have that let you work on a project, but also mentor you. There's this degree of mentorship that young individuals that come into AQS gets to see in the first place. So I can say it's more of it's also great. Most importantly, a family.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's a family.
I can testify.
So whichever problem that you have, whichever happy success that you have, it's shared within the ranks of AQS. So it's a place where everyone grows together and empower each other to reach their goals or the milestone. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
To everyone who has kept up till the end of the show, we are so happy to have you, and please keep the watch with what is going to be happening next time. We're going to be always having more interesting people on the show. So, ciao, ciao.